Lord, it's not my son. If it is my son, Lord, cover him, protect him. Lord, give him one more chance. Give him another chance. Let him be okay. But God had other plans.
Was that hard for you to accept?
Yes. Yes. Very, very hard. Because I am the strong one. I'm the fighter. So, you know, hearing those words, sitting in the lobby. Well, actually, one of the nurses, she seen how distraught I was. She said, nobody would let me to the back. They called the police, everything. I didn't worry about
They
it.
called the police on you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get to my son. I just wanted to touch him. I just wanted to be able to feel him so he can know that your mama is here, you know. So one of the nurses, she said, "Come with me." She said, "Come with me." Um, and I walked back. She said, "Just brace yourself." So as I walked to the back, she was like, "He's right here." I was able to look through the window, and I knew he was gone. He was just flatline. It was flatline. One of the nurses was still giving him compressions, but um, I heard the doctor say, "It's time. Call it."
So you actually heard them say
He
that.
said, "It's time. Call it." I fainted.
Mm.
I could have bad. I could have real bad. So they walked me, security, everybody. I heard him say call it. So they walked me back to the back up front where my son and I instantly they was like, "What's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong?"
Yeah.
And they hadn't came out and told. Thank you. Hadn't came out and told the family yet.
Mm. So you, before they could even like come to try to tell you all to try to console you, comfort you, you already saw it.
I had on our. They didn't know I was there
Mm.
until I yelled, "No, not my baby." So as they made it back to the front with his grandmother, my other kids, all of the family, um, he waited about 3 minutes. And he came. He said, "Where's the mother of Thompson?"
Mm.
And everybody was like, "She's right here. She's right here." And he says, "Nothing more that I can do. Your son is deceased." My life changed completely.
Yeah. So there, you're there. Your mom is there, trying to comfort her baby.
My mom didn't know yet.
She didn't know yet.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
My mom didn't know yet.
But she's there for you. You have to be there for your other children. How many other children do you have?
I have 5 outside of him.
Okay.
I have 6 kids altogether.
Yeah. And so now you have to try to process your trauma, your grief, but they're also grieving. And this is also traumatic for them. Do you remember in that moment any of their responses, like how they felt, what they experienced?
Anger. My oldest son, he's 24 now. But at that time, uh, he was angry.
Yeah.
he punched a hole in the wall
At the hospital?
at the hospital.
Okay.
I remember that my the older kids were at school, so I had the younger ones. The last two, they was just crying. So I wound up falling out in the midst of it. They had to give me a shot. So I wound up, my blood pressure was through the roof.
Yeah.
So I remember them taking me to a room to administer the shot for me to calm down. They was like, "You're going to kill yourself." And I can remember the detective. She was a lady. She came in. And she said, "We're going to find out what happened." And I told her, like, "Hey, I need for you to do whatever you can do so I don't have to do it."
Yeah.
So my grief, my pain turned to anger, rage, betrayal. Like, at the time of losing my son, I had changed my lifestyle. I was in the process. I was working. I wasn't into anything. I was coaching City League girls, 11 and 12-year-old girls. I was going to church. I was married. So in that instant, I forgot all about that. It was like
In that moment, you were just Dame's mom.
I was a mom. That's my son. That's my son, and I need for you to find out what happened.
Yeah.
I even told her, "You're not gonna like my actions, so you find out what happened. You do your job. I don't need you talking to me. I need for you to go and do your job." So it was instantly anger.
Yeah. So you move from anger. What was the next emotion that you remember experiencing?
Retaliation.
So at this point, who are you trying to retaliate against?
It was a lot behind it.
Yeah.
A lot behind his death.
Okay.
I'll never know the full story, the truth behind it.
Yeah.
And he was with friends.
He was with his friends?
He was with his friends when this took place. So my instance was, y'all ain't telling the truth. Y'all covering up. Because his body was moved from one place to another. So when the detectives is giving me all of this information, guns was hid in the backyard. So when I'm listening to all of this, I'm not taking this in a positive way.
Yeah.
I want revenge. I need that. Because of why? Like, why my son?
Yeah.
I completely forgot about everything else. My job, my character, my marriage. I forgot.
So what happened?
I went
next?
blank.
Yeah. What happened next?
After that, I went to jail.
Okay.
Maybe it was a week exactly after I buried my son. I went to jail.
Was that a part of that retaliation?
It was a part of that.
Okay.
It was a lot with the other family, friends. But broad daylight situation took place. And the chief of police told me, he said, you the mama of the situation, so you got to go down. So I went. I ain't fight it. I ain't fight it. I ain't proud of it. But I did. I went to jail for that situation. And right after I went to jail, I got separated. Me and my husband separated.
So in the moment where you felt like you kind of needed him the most,
he walked away.
Okay. So you went to jail. Who has your kids during this time?
He did.
So he had your kids.
He had the kids.
Okay.
He got me out the same night. I didn't sit.
Okay.
So I came home. It still was estranged because like he never seen that side of me.
Yeah.
Acting out. He always seemed to calm me. But in that instant, he seen a whole other person. And it's true when people say you have different seasons, different reactions. And it takes a strong person to be there. It takes a strong person to stand by your side and be able to endure those bad times as well as the good.
Absolutely.
And he couldn't endure.
Do you hold it against him?
I did.
Do you now?
I don't now.
Okay.
I don't now. I actually forgave him. Because at the first, my rage and stuff was aimed at him too.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was there for you through your most trying times. I was a woman, held you down. I was the wife, did everything. We had our issues, but we was good overall. But now that I'm going through, you can't be my husband and stand on my side. You can't hold me down. Anytime my daughter got to come in the bathroom to get me out of the bathroom because I've been in there overnight crying because I didn't want them to see me cry. But I forgave him because I told him, I said, hey, I don't care if you live or die. But I couldn't hold it.
Yeah. So you lose your son. Then you lose your marriage. And you mentioned like you forgot about your job, you forget about your kids, like everything else goes out the window.
I actually, as we going through the separation, I go back to work. Okay. I'm a floor supervisor at the casino. But this night, I did not dealt. So I was on a roulette table. They actually forced me to go back to work. It's like you come back to work or you lose your job. And I was telling them like, hey, I said, I ain't ready.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Well, you have to come back or this day or you're going to lose your job. So I was like, okay. I went back. On the roulette table, I wound up giving away $33,000. And they looked at me and was like, why you letting him place that bet? I said, I told you I wasn't ready. I said, I don't even remember him putting it out there.
So then you get in trouble at work.
I get in trouble.
For losing $33,000, but they made you come back immediately after your son was murdered.
Yeah.
While you're in the middle of going through a divorce, and you told them, hey, I'm not mentally prepared to come back to work. Or it doesn't matter. You have to come back anyway. But now you're in trouble for giving away too much money at the casino.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when they ran the tape back, because I told them, I was like, I don't remember him putting it out there. Because they was like, you act like you don't care. I said, well, I really don't. Because I told y'all I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So when they rewind the tape back, my floor supervisor told me, he was like, you just standing there. I said, what did it look like I was doing? He said, you just look like you off in space. I said, well, I told you I wasn't ready. Y'all gave me an ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
Come back or lose my job. He said, well, you came back and you still lost your job. I said, but I came back. What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm. I mean, what were you supposed to do?
I tried. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
It just, my mind was not on counting chips.
And did they knew what was going on in your life?
Yes.
And they still tried to force you to come back to work anyway.
Some of them came to the funeral.
They came to the funeral.
Yes.
And then they made you come back to work.
Maybe come back to work.
And typically with casinos, you can't be off more than like 2-3 weeks.
3 days.
3 days?
Yes. 3 days. And then I had to write, I had to write a statement saying that I lost my son.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to close my mouth because 3 days?
3 days. 3 bereavement days.
Somebody need to fix that, okay?
3 bereavement days.
These jobs need to get it together. These jobs. There's no way that you can tell me that a job should be okay with giving somebody 3 bereavement days after a family member is brutally murdered.
3 days. And then I had to write the letter and bring the obituary because I hadn't had his death certificate yet.
You don't even have a death certificate yet.
Nope.
So at this point, you have lost your son. Mm-hmm. You have lost your job. You have lost your husband. Mm-hmm. And you still have to continue to try to be a mom to the rest of your kids.
I don't know that. Lost the house.
You lost your house because you lost your job.
Yeah.
You can't keep paying for something.
Yeah.
So you become homeless.
Became homeless.
With your other
I became homeless. In the midst of going through this divorce. Yeah. It was ugly at first. So I wound up moving out of the house that we had. I took my last check and I went on 28th Street. Mm-hmm. The lady had apartments out there that she would just pay straight rent. So I told her, like, hey, I need somewhere for me and my kids. I paid her $1,400 to move in. But mind you now, I still got to transfer my lights. Mm-hmm. Remember in the beginning, I told you I blew the motor up in my car. Mm-hmm. So I wound up having to take some of that money and going to get a car, tag, and insurance. Mm-hmm. So what I do now? Yeah. With no job. I didn't, and if you looked at me, you would have never known, because I didn't let it be known. Yeah. But I had started drinking heavy. That was my go-to. Yeah. Drinking. Hanging out. All in the midst of all of this stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And I looked at my kids. And I'm like, man, I got girls. Yeah. I don't need them to see me break down. I got another son. I don't need him to see me break down. And I'm trying to get a hold of my oldest son. I'm study preaching to him. He like, Mama, what you want me to do?